Okay, so now it's time for like a bonus video, because I wanted to make one video exclusively talking about the testosterone gaining process. And then Darren and I had also talked about making videos weekly-ish to talk about certain topics that were requested by viewers or that we thought were super cool. So we actually did get a request from one of my followers on Tumblr, Fawn Prince. I'm looking it up now, let's see. The request was talking about passing versus not passing, as well as performative masculinity in trans men, which I think is like, wow, a very mind-blowing type of topic. So, I was thinking about this for this video, and I was trying to, I guess I'll separate the two topics. So first I'll talk about passing and not passing, and then performative masculinity. As far as passing versus not passing goes, I don't pass. I never have. I've never been called sir or mister by a stranger who doesn't know my gender identity, ever. And at this point, I've been out for 2.5 years, and I'm okay with that. Passing is not something that's important to me at all anymore. I mean, it is to an extent, but I feel as though I don't alter my behavior anymore in order to pass better. This has not always been true. There was a time when I did try harder to pass, and that time is called my sophomore year. When I was first coming out to people, I guess I felt more of a need, especially because I was the first openly transgender person at my university. Most of my friends had never met a trans person before, and a lot of them questioned, firstly they questioned how I could identify as male and still be pretty feminine, and then they questioned how I could identify as male and still be gay, so like, still be interested in men. So a lot of people were confused by that, and I guess because of their confusion, I dressed a lot more masculinely than I normally would have. Yeah, I didn't paint my nails or anything, I didn't wear jewelry, I wore a lot of, like, bigger clothes, more like athletic clothes, which is totally not me. Sort of, I guess, to prove to them that I did in fact identify as male. I don't know what that was. I think I just wanted to pass, or I wanted people to believe me. Because I think it's really hard for femme-identified trans individuals to sort of face that at the beginning. Because not only are people having to deal with you coming out as a gender that's not the one that they originally perceived, but they have to also deal with the fact that you're not going to be a male stereotype, like, sorry. I mean, it's kind of like double resistance to the coming out process for specifically, like, femme individuals. So I think that was my reaction to that. As far as my view on it now, I think one thing, oh gosh, this is gonna sound like cheesy, but one thing that's helped me actually has been Tumblr. Like, I'm not kidding. Seeing, like, following blogs like FemFTM, I believe is one of them, following blogs like that to see other FTMs that identify as femme and who, like, enjoy dressing in drag or, like wearing jewelry and stuff. Just seeing other people like that has helped me a lot. As well as on Tumblr, like, the male fashion community, I guess. Seeing, like, pictures and stuff of other, like, cis men who dress femininely has assured me, like, for my friends, I can just point to a picture of, like, Miles McMillan and be like, look, there's another guy who wears outfits like me and has long hair like me. What's so weird about my gender expression now, if I can, like, point to a famous male model that dresses pretty much the same. So, I guess familiarizing myself with images of other trans men like me as well as other cis men who dress like me really helped with that. And then the other thing that helped me was kind of like, this is sad, but realizing that I would never pass, and that there was nothing I could do to make, like, the cafeteria workers say, like, "Have a good day, sir," as they swipe my card. Like, that day will never come until I made some sort of physical change, as far as, like, hormones or surgery went. So to realize that I would never pass actually was kind of freeing, because I felt like, because people, they don't even, like, question whether or not I'm male or female. Like, most people just, like, assume that I'm female, or that I'm a woman, or whatever. And that, for me, was kind of freeing, because I feel like, because there was no question in strangers' minds about my identity, I could wear whatever I wanted. Like, I could be as femme as I wanted, because it would not trouble their perception of gender, and I wouldn't get laughed at or, told that I was in the wrong bathroom or anything like that, because people already assumed I was female. So I felt like I could wear basically anything. So realizing that I would never pass helped. And then also just having a really good support system totally helped me. My friends at school, like, they accept me. None of my, like, close friends have ever even politely asked me, like, how can you be trans and still like having long hair or something like that. Like, my close friends, they don't care, like, they really don't, and, like, having their support, and knowing that, they will always, like, refer to me by the proper gender identity, it doesn't matter what, someone at work tells me as, like, I'm taking their ticket, like, that doesn't matter, as long as I have, my friends who know what I identify as, I can get through, like, the myriad of strangers that will still call me miss and young lady. So that's kind of helped me as far as passing goes, and especially, like, in my friend group, the freedom to make jokes about me, being a gay guy, or, jokes about my femininity, it's great. Like, I can make jokes like that and people will laugh. Some people will be shocked, but most will laugh. So that kind of freedom's good too. As far as performative masculinity, like I said, there was a time when I did try to be quite masculine. I don't know what that was. No. I dressed a lot different. I think it was a reaction to people's reactions to me coming out. But I feel in certain spaces I do try to perform more masculine. I do try to convince people that I am trans, which is such a weird feeling, especially because usually that type of feeling happens to me in a queer space. I don't know why this is, but, like, a lot of LGBT, like, conferences or places where it's, like, queer people gathering to hang out, like the gay bar or something, like, I feel more like I have to perform masculinity, maybe because gender is so muddled in those spaces that I want it to be clear, to people which gender I identify with. I don't know, but, another thing that I've seen from the queer community, mostly on Tumblr, because, like, there's not much of a queer community in my real life, but mostly on Tumblr, I have seen a couple of people sent me, like, messages or whatever, calling me trans-trender. I don't know what this means. From what I understand, it means that a trans-trender is a person who, is only identifying as gender non-normative because it's cool, which I think is nonsense, because if you're gonna go out on a limb and, like, risk possibly losing your friends' or family's support by coming out as genderqueer or as trans, you're serious. Like, why would you willingly lose some friends or lose some, social status by coming out as something you don't really identify with? I think that's stupid. I don't think there is such thing as a trans-trender, at least I've never met one. But I think a lot of people associate that with trans guys like me because I am femme and I do pass as female, and that's ultimately okay with me. Of course, I'd prefer to pass as male, definitely, but I don't get extremely offended if someone calls me she. In fact, I kind of find it fun. I kind of look to, like, I'm really obsessed with, like, mythology and ancient Greece specifically, and I look to, like, ancient heroes like Tiresias, who lived for like 7 years as a woman and was all the wiser for it, and like the idea of two spirits in Native American culture, like two spirits are treated as ultimately having a better grasp at like the world because they have experienced like both sides of gender. And I think when people call me she, yes, I am a little bit, disheartened, but at the same time, I recognize that I'm both feminine and masculine, and for people to acknowledge that sometimes is okay. So yeah, that's my thoughts on performative masculinity in the queer community, outside of the queer community, and stuff. So if you want to further this discussion, like, feel free to leave a comment, and suggest further topics as well. Thanks, guys.